of the Magnate. Today we have a personality that has several parts, several feathers to his cap. He is a business mogul. In fact, he sits at tops of an organization almost celebrating the centenary in existence. You wonder what organization that is? He has several titles. He's a business mogul. He has traversed both the public and the private sector. Who are we talking about? Let's give you this profile documentary of our personality for the week. We'll be back to comments and interactive session with him.
Alhaji Are Abdurrafiu Ademola Sani Omiteru was born in Lagos Island in 1952. He hails from Modeni dynasty of Fiditi. His father was late Pa Alade Sani Omiteru and his mother is Alhaja Chief Minerat Amokpe Omiteru. He is an indigene of Fiditi in Oyo State, Nigeria. He started his elementary education at Ansarudin Primary School, Fiditi in 1958 and finished up at Jama'atu Islamiyat Primary School, Tokumbo Street, where he obtained his first school leaving certificate in flying colors. Alhaji Sani obtained his GCE London certificate in 1973 and GCE Advanced Level in Economics and Government in 1975. He went further to study stenography and obtained Royal Society of Arts London certificate. He joined United Africa Company, now UAC, Technical Division, Lagos in 1970 as a grade 2 stenographer. He held the position of group admin manager in a private company, Biscondit Group. Alhaji Sani worked in various companies, including Hawaii Nigeria Limited, as planning and development manager, Rafsin Omi & Co., a major agent of UAC Foods. He joined a multinational company, Newspaper AS, with head office in Oslo, Norway, as sales executive in 1987. By dint of hard work and transparent honesty, he then became the general manager and chief executive officer of the Nigeria office of the multinational company until year 2000, where he voluntarily retired to establish his own trading company. Are Sani is a socialite by excellence. He is the pioneer CEO of DASEF Group of Companies and the current president of Ansarudin Society of Nigeria. Alhaji Are Abdurrafiu Ademola Sani Omiteru, a grandpa, happily married to Alhaja Chief Latifat Olasumbo Amori Sani Omiteru and blessed with children who are achievers in their own rights.
Welcome back. The program is The Magnate, and it's my pleasure. I'm really delighted to welcome a magnate for the week. He's Alhaji Dr. Abdurrafiu Ademola Sani Omiteru. Thank you very much for having us, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Now, we want to look at your business aspect. I know you are somebody with several feathers to your caps. Let's commence from your own business acumen, how you started business. You served this nation in both the public and private sector before you decided to go into DASEF Group of Companies, where you sit atop the enterprise. Tell us, what was it like going into business for you? Because this program is about business, mentoring on television, how you can mentor people that maybe are startups or those already in business.
Thank you very much for having me once again. As you rightly said, I've traversed all sides of the economy of this country. And in 1995, I decided to set up a company, having retired from a multinational company, basically a Norwegian company known as Norway, with offices everywhere in the world. But I was sitting in Nigeria as the general manager and the Nigerian representative of that multinational company. And when I retired, I decided to go into paper business.
Paper?
Because newspaper itself is a giant in paper business. Coupled with my experience when I was with UAC, I worked for UAC for several years. I retired as a supervisor before going into other organizations, finally joining newspaper in 1987. And I left newspaper after 15 years of service.
Interesting.
Yeah. When we set up DASEF, as is usual with any initial initiative, there are some teething problems, and with the grace of Almighty Allah, we are able to survive. And today, DASEF is one of the, when you mention converters, paper importers, because we supply material for exercise books, textbooks, which is used both at the primary level up to tertiary level.
Okay.
And so we are playing a vital role in the educational development of this country.
Interesting.
And consequently, we ensure from time to time that printers, publishers are adequately supplied with the needed raw materials for them to produce and make sure that the educational situation of this country is alive.
Okay, interesting that you have grown. In fact, this program is tagged Lending a Voice to Business Growth. Now, how do you think you started off? I mean, did you just decide to say, okay, I quit this job? Or how did you prepare to start off this business? For the young ones to learn from you, sir.
Yeah, the fact remains that honesty, integrity is very crucial in anybody's success. I mean sustainable success. As a manager, a general manager, I started really with newspaper as sales executive. And with time, national sales manager, eventually the general manager and the main representative in Nigeria. And the Norwegians being what they are, they cherish a lot integrity and honesty. When I decided to quit, on my own initiative, I decided, look, I've done enough.
I've had enough.
He now said, what do you want us to do for you? Because we must show appreciation
Gratitude
for what you have done. I said, all I need is your support. So for several years, they was exporting papers to us. We sell, then we pay. Because the trust we built over the years when I was with them made them to believe that, look, this is a Nigerian we can trust. So we started virtually nothing. So they were giving us that support. Whatever we ask, they will push it into the ship. It's down here. When we say we remit the money back, like that, we are able to grow our own capital. And at a point, we were using our own money to do the necessary business.
Okay, earlier on you talked about the exportation of probably raw materials. Don't you think there should be a need for us to look inwards in terms of raw materials, particularly when you know that we are just coming through from the pandemic, where a lot of focus should be on looked inwards to look source our raw materials for these products?
That is crucial. So it's the same dilemma worrying this country, because our leaders, to me, have not done enough. And what do I mean? At a point in time, we had what we call the Okuboku mill, paper mill. Okuboku, I think that was in Cross River State, Calabar specifically.
Iwopin is also there.
Iwopin was also there, which was supposed to produce white paper for the textbooks and exercise books. But over time, they became moribund. And today, they are not functioning. It's rather unfortunate. It's just the same mentality of Nigeria producing oil, having to export crude oil, and then importing refined oil with dollars. Until we wake up and we have the right people in the right place, this country, I'm sorry to say, will not move forward.
Okay, how does this impact on your easy ride, on your operation? Because at the end of the day, it is the consumers that suffer it, because it's what you buy or how you buy that you will sell. Does this impact negatively or positively on the buyers, particularly when you talk of the educational development, the focus of your own brand?
Well, if I tell you it has not impacted negatively on the consumer who are the parents, that will not be totally true. But on our own part, what we have always been trying to do, realizing the fact that this is an essential commodity and it has to do with the future of our children. What we have always done is to make sure that pricing of these products are reasonably done, so that at the end of the day, what the parents will be paying will be reasonably affordable.
Okay.
Because when you cover cost and you are marking up your profit, paper you cannot mark up as you mark up other products because of what it's used for. So if other people are, I can tell you maximally when things were normal, the highest you can make on paper is 5%.
Okay.
Because if you say you want to go higher, it will be difficult for the parents to afford.
Okay.
And our children will suffer.
Exactly. So it's not all about profits.
It's not all about profit. Humanity has to come in.
Interesting. We're still chatting with Are Timola Sani Omiteru. Is the chairman, managing director of DASEP Group of Companies. Focus on papers, educational materials. You know that is very much needed in our educational sector and in our society. Let's go for this short break. When we come back, we're bringing you the concluding part of this interesting conversation with our great mogul for the week. You're welcome back. The program is still the Magnate, lending a voice to business growth and mentoring on television. The bit you have seen, I'm sure our guest has been able to mentor us on TV using his organization as a yardstick. You're welcome back to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's look at mentoring. How easy, when you started off, how easy was it for you to recruit your workforce? I mean, compared to now, where that craze for haste and not really trying to settle down to know the job before, but you learned through the ropes and then you decided to now say, okay, let me be a master of my own. How has it been easy for you operating in this climate and with the workforce?
Well, operating in Nigerian climate is a serious challenge because there are quite a number of obstacles, both federal government policies, central bank issues, the customs, the Nigerian Ports Authority, even the so-called shipping lines. We have issues. Again, compounded with this is the infrastructural inadequacy.
Look at this.
For example, if you have your container coming from Tinkan Island, that's a big problem because the road is so bad that containers will fall inside the water and all that type of. But it's good now that federal government is now seeing it as a priority and they are working on it. But pending that is resolved, it's still a very, very big issue. Now, on the issue of recruiting staff, as I've said before, it's very scarce in this country today to get honest staff. And it's the malaise of the society because young men are so much in a hurry to become millionaires and all that. And you have a situation where you employ a young graduate, fairly good salary, because you don't want him to start feeling that because this is private sector. In the every industry has its own remuneration pattern.
Status.
Yeah, and we do better, a little better than what government is paying, because when you are in the private sector, you have to work. Despite that, you still find them behaving dishonestly.
Unto us.
And that is rather frustrating. So what we are also trying to do, train our children to understand what business is all about, let them have practical experience, and then with time, they are learning the ropes, through the ropes, and eventually.
It's interesting that we are discussing this because I want you to still, dwell more on the issue of apprenticeship. You served in both public and private sector before you decided, okay, I've had enough. You are not going to work for anybody forever. I want you to talk about apprenticeship in a way that people should learn the rudiments, not just spend 1 or 2 years in an organization. You feel, you start envy the owner, and okay, let me also go and start my own without knowing the nitty-gritty of that business.
The fact remains that for you to successfully do a business, you must know the tricks, because every business has its own hidden tricks. And if you don't go through roads to learn those tricks, there is no way you can be successful. Young men are in a hurry. We've mentored some young men that are on their own today. And they are doing well. They are doing very well. But you still have quite a number of them who came in a hurry, went out in a hurry, and thinking things are just magic. Whereas it is not magic.
Okay.
It's not rocket science.
Okay, you know, when I introduced the program, I talked about you having several cabs, several feathers to your cabs. Now, as part of your community service, let's look at that aspect of you. You have been able to, from the little we have heard of you, you do a lot of community service. Can you share some of them with us before we start talking about the organization you presently sit at?
Thank you very much. I'm from Fidelity.
Home of fruits.
Yes, God bless you. And Fidelity is a town, but still quite a number of still growing young men.
Imagine.
So what happened some times back was, in those days we used to have what we call community bank in Fidelity.
Oh yes.
And at a point, the central bank decided that the way it's being run is not good enough, so they came up with microfinance banking, purely to assist the downtrodden member of the community. And my people approached me to buy the community bank. And I said, okay, you say so, because the community bank was already more or less dead, and they want me to buy it, then probably
resuscitate it.
Yeah, resuscitate it and develop it into a microfinance bank. So I said, okay. So I called experts to go and look into their books. We will start a new microfinance bank. So we applied to CBN. We got the consultants to work on it. Eventually, we got a license.
Ah, interesting.
We started that bank about 11 years ago.
Wow.
We call it Kopo microfinance. Kopo, that is to become plenty. Kopo and to last long, to endure.
I know you did that.
We started the bank, and I can tell you today,
striving.
The intention, yes, is to do a business. But the major intention is to help the downtrodden to come up. And today I can tell you we have achieved that goal to a reasonable extent.
Okay, very good. Congratulations. The society where you presently are the president is an association that is well known in Nigeria and even global. It is called the Ansarudeen Society of Nigeria, founded by a group of young men almost 100 years ago. Do you want to tell us what informed your choice as the president? Because the little we know of Ansarudeen, people have said that you're so bureaucratic because probably there is retirees from sectors that man the organization. So they just operate just like you have in organizations. The bureaucracy, the process, everything is just like running a government organization. Share that with us, sir.
Thank you very much. The society was started almost, say, 98 years ago by young men in Lagos Island specifically. And these are civil servants, young men, civil servants. And the bureaucracy in the civil service was also introduced into the society. And I can tell you that has helped in the sustenance of the society up to today. Because things are done
with process.
There are processes to follow. And we must always show gratitude to these founding fathers, because they've laid a very strong foundation. You can count how many societies, either Islamic or Christian organizations, that have come and gone because proper foundations were not
laid.
But we are grateful to God that Ansarudeen, by the year 2023, will be 100 years old. And we'll be celebrating the centenary in a very big way by the grace of God.
Okay, I want to now ask, one of the major offshoots of this association or society, as it were, the basis for the foundation or for founding this association was even purely, majorly education, amongst other things. And the major offshoot is a global university that has come out of it. You want to give just a short, because you are into educational materials. Is it because of that? You now say, okay, my major mandate for my tenure will be focused on education.
Thank you very much. Ansarudeen, as you have rightly said, came up as a result of Muslim children being denied Western education, because as at that time, either you change your name and become a Christian or whatever. And these young men came up, started this idea. And that's why today, if you go to the remotest village in Nigeria, you'll find Ansarudeen School there.
True.
And they are still functioning properly. Now, then it was taken to the next level, from primary to the secondary school level. And today, virtually all our branches have 1, 2, 3 secondary schools all over the country. So, I was exactly 50 years old when the issue of the university came up. I was to celebrate my birthday. And I've been in the National Executive Council as at that time. That must be about 19 years ago. And I now stood up, the papas, we are still young men and all that. I said, look, all the organizations are forming universities. I think at this point I started doing too.
Oh, so you moved the motion?
Yes, I did. The record is there for everybody to see.
Oh.
The record is there. And I said, instead of going to celebrate my 50th birthday, calling Sonia Ade, because God has been kind to me. When I was, gratitude. Yeah, God has been very kind to me. And I said, that money, please, you will now go and use it and open an account for a university for Ansarudeen Society of Nigeria. And the old man there prayed for me, and I can tell you the prayer
has worked.
Has worked. So as we have started that since that time. And we've been pursuing to have the license. But you see, God is marvelous, and He knows the way He does His things. For almost, say 10 years, we couldn't get the license. It has to do with leadership and all that. Eventually, the administration of Alhaji Femi Okuno came in, and I happened to be the vice president. And during that period, we were able to acquire the license.
Wow.
Then having acquired the license to nurture the university, for us to get accreditation for our courses, now fell on my shoulders
as a leader,
the new president of the society. But God is marvelous. God, the 6 courses that were on there, we got accreditation for all of them with high grades.
Wow.
And full accreditation. The least mark we got was 87%. Wow. We have 90 something.
That's high.
So, and
I must congratulate you.
Thank you very much. And since then, the university has been
moving
up and up and up. And by the grace of God, as our mission and vision clearly stated, that university will be one of the best
in the globe,
in Africa. It will be one of the best in Africa. It will be one of the very best, and then all over the world, it will be one of the best. I want it's going to be a leading university in Africa and one of the best in the world.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Now your final words. I need you to cancel everybody, particularly just coming through from the pandemic. A lot of people are still moody, businesses are shutting down, you are lucky, you are still thriving. Just the final words for everybody, sir.
Thank you very much. Generally, we should put all our trust in Almighty Allah, because there is no problem that is not solvable. Once we put our trust, total trust and belief in the Almighty. The issue of pandemic as a body, we have been working together with government. We've issued several circulars out to our members, letting them know that coronavirus is real. Because up to today, some people still believe it's
denial.
They're in denial. And that's why we have some people still having issues.
Thank you very much. Yes, this has been the Magnate this week. I'm sure you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. It's been with Alhaji R. Dr. Abdurafiu Ademola Sani Omiteru is a compound name. Thank you very much again, sir.
Thank you.
Obliging me.
Thank you so much.
That's how it's been today. We've talked about business growth, and I'm sure you have also been mentored on this program. That is our slogan, mentoring on television. Make it a date with us same time next week when we shall bring an equally interesting and knowledgeable magnate on this program. Until then, bye for now.